In yet another blow to the job market for new graduates, folks who are looking to find new work elsewhere. The theme that's been going on for a while and is continuing is the fact that people are not retiring. More and more are not retiring when they typically would. Like that is something that has happened throughout the labor market forever and a day. Work for X number of years, get retirement eligible, then go live out your golden years. That is becoming less and less likely for many people. Some due to they can't afford to, others because they just enjoy working and don't want to stop working. They've seen they've seen what happens to their friends, family members when they stop working, what happens to their quality of life. And they don't want that to happen to them. So there's more and more people are just choosing to say, hey, I am going to continue to be in the workplace. And what that does, the second and third order effects, is what we're going to be talking about here today. And it's something I'm bringing up with my clients as well. Again, for those that don't know, my name is Ryan Howe. I'm a business coach that works out of West Michigan and around the country. I come here live pretty consistently every single day, just sharing information that I share with my clients, and I hope to earn your subscription. Now, we're going to look at a couple articles today, specifically about the seasoned citizens, retirement eligible individuals who continue to be in the labor force and have jobs. Not necessarily on the small business side, like as small business owners. I'm going to treat that a little bit differently. That's a different subset, and other issues that go along with that. I'm talking about purely just from the employment side. And when we're dealing with people who are staying in their positions for an extended period, there's not to say issues that come up with that, but it does cause the labor market as a whole, as more and more people do this, to start to stagnate. And that's an issue. But let's take a look at some of this here, and then we're going to talk about what that means within companies as far as for job satisfaction, career growth, etc., and also what that means for being able to move between jobs and different businesses. It has wide-reaching effects, considering the labor market was built under a system of, hey, you work for a while, then you retire and let the new folks in, when that's not the case. All right, so silver staffers aren't leaving the office. Baby boomers, anyone from 61 to 79, are either refusing to retire or increasingly re-entering the workforce. Looks like a few of the there you go, got one here. I think they're bald by choice over here. Great, got some gray hair over here. Okay, we see a few of them here. Now, the promise of midday golf games and spending 3 hours drinking 1 cup of coffee at McDonald's is not enough. I'm sorry. All right, that's actually a pretty funny opening line they got there. Okay, I used to work at McDonald's. We had a few folks. They sat there all day at the diner as a group of them, just talking, solving the world's problems, nursing 1 cup a day. Anyways, as of last year, workers over the age of 75 are the fastest growing group in the workforce. Let me say that one more time. As of last year, workers over the age of 75 are the fastest growing group in the workforce. That says an awful lot. Like I could spend the entire video just kind of tearing that apart and just chasing every last bit of that. But that says an awful lot, and not in a good way. Now, baby boomers, again, that age range, are either refusing, blah, blah. In some cases, they need to, as the cost of living increases and the Social Security eligibility age creeps higher. Additionally, only about 24% of boomers have defined pension benefits, and only half of private sector workers have access to employer 401k plans. So that is obviously, that's a difference between the greatest generation and the boomers. It has to do with the number of pensions that are out there. Not as many. Previous generation, there was quite a few more. That being said, it wasn't like this was a surprise. Like they needed to save up for retirement. Now I know everybody's got their things here and there. I got it, but that hasn't been a surprise. If it's surprise, if you are a boomer currently and you are shocked that you don't have enough for retirement, then you were not listening to every single thing. I'm 46 that I've heard for 45 years of my life, that you've got to save up, you've got to have a nest egg, you've got to do the thing. And if you're at this point now where you don't have that's on you. I mean, that's on you. But it doesn't change the fact that now these folks are in this position that they have to work in order to survive, right? And that's what we're dealing with. But some of the white collar workers are choosing to spend their golden years in an office. Industries like nuclear energy are desperate for seasoned experts, 100%. We're on a lot, we don't have a lot of people with experience because we've been shutting down those plants. Less labor intensive jobs mean older people can work longer with more flexible schedules. Doing a desk job for extra money might be attractive if you're doing it from a nice office with central air. And older Americans are also becoming entrepreneurs. As of 2023, nearly a third of new founders are my age and older, and the percentage of businesses founded by people 55 to 64 is rising. That's something that I do keep track of, and I'm aware of. That is 100% being a thing where we have people who are getting into their my age or older are definitely the vast majority of people who are, I will come back to that in a second. The vast majority of people that are entrepreneurs are in my age group, between the 45 and the 55. And one of the main reasons for that is they're reached the second act of their life, is kind of what like a second act of adulthood is really where I spell it. You have your preteen years, etc., you're young, where you're just kind of figuring out, hey, you don't really get a say, right? You live with your parents and you're there. You get to spend the first 20 some odd years as an adult from 18 even to say 22, right? Say you go to college, 22 to 45, 46, something like that, where you're figuring out exactly what it even means to be an adult, what you want to do as an adult, and really what you enjoy, where you're finally free from the outside forces. And that's why you see a lot of individuals that are at this point are willing to make that choice and say, hey, I'm going to go into business for myself and open up my own, whatever happens to be. So it's not surprising where you see that. Additionally, it's why you also see that with a large number of folks who are seasoned citizens as well. They're 55 to 64, right? That's the same thing. They're on the back end. They're starting their third act, which is they're nearing their retirement age and what do I want to do in my golden years? And that's why you see that. Okay. Now, nearly 11 million older workers are employed right now, and that number is expected to jump by 97% in the next decade. We're expecting the number of folks who are older workers to double. So just keep that in mind there, right? That is insane. Okay, now what's that? So what's that going to do? What will that do if we have this vast number of seasoned citizens who are sitting in these positions, these older positions? What's that do? It keeps folks who have experience from moving up and gaining more experience, right? It also then, by them not moving up, we have no place for new employees, first line individuals coming in, brand new, zero experience jobs. All of these folks that are graduating from school, there's no place for them because we don't have people who are exiting out of the top of the system. Okay, so that's one of the issues. Let's go to the next spot here. This is from Newsweek. Again, links to these articles are going to be in the description. Be sure to go check those out. Now, the proportion of Americans choosing to remain in the workforce past traditional retirement age has reached record highs, with more individuals in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s working by choice or necessity. Right now, 51% of retirement age adults now expect to work indefinitely, reflecting both economic realities and evolving perspectives on retirements. I tell you, this is the other aspect. I would just be very clear on this. There's a large percentage, as we've talked about, I mentioned earlier, that they didn't save up money for retirement because they were busy living their lives and they didn't save. And now they're having to work. So that's a portion of that. And I don't want to gloss over that because it's not mentioned. Now, the number of Americans 65 and older workforce surged by more than 33%, right, from 15 to 2024. And now we're expecting it to grow, continue to grow. Why it matters? The marked increase in older Americans remaining employed signals profound shifts in the nation's approach to retirement. Trend is shaped by longer life expectancies, a move away from guaranteed pension towards self-funded retirements like the 401k and Social Security, persistent concerns regarding retirement readiness. Economic inequality and stagnating wages also have exacerbated disparities among retirees. Frankly, they just don't have the savings required for a comfortable retirement. Now, one of the things that we're going to see here too is when they talk about the life expectancy, they say here now is at 78.4. That's up 5 years from a decade ago. And the number of Americans living to 100 has also risen as well. Now, what I would just want to add to this here, this isn't beating up on the folks that are currently in this, that are having to work because they're, again, they're older folks, and they say, let's just go with the cost of living adjustment. I don't think they had anywhere in mind that there was going to be, like in the most recent case, where we had a 25% of all money that's ever been printed was printed in the last 5 years. Like that's just the thing. What that does to inflation and any savings they did have is absolutely destroys it. That's, the value is gone. So yeah, I get that piece on there. But the other aspect though, and this is the part that again, just what this means for the labor market as a whole. Right now, you see it again, they're laying off individuals in middle management roles throughout. We're finding ways that AI are eating into a lot of the administrative jobs that are out there. So what we're dealing with currently is that we have a system, especially with the labor market and the jobs that are out there, where we have folks who are in positions that now can't afford to leave the jobs that they have. However, those jobs are quickly going to be a lot of them are becoming irrelevant just because of the way the large language models and AI are doing. But on the flip side of that, there is going to be continued pressure that we need to get these younger men and women employed as well too, because, and this is the piece that again, where when I talk to my clients about this is, there's something to be said for having people with institutional knowledge within your business, right? You want to have folks that have been there long in the tooth, right? Been there a while. They've been there, they know it, they understand the way everything works. But we need them. We also need the young folks in there as well to learn from them and understand exactly and just get the reps in a safe way around what this business is. So we're in a place where so they can understand how that business needs to grow and operate. So when the folks are ready to retire, it's a seamless-ish transition. Well, what we're stuck with right now, folks, is that because folks are hanging on longer and we're not getting the younger folks in, when these people retire, it is absolutely devastating these businesses that are coming in. So we're having to find ways to, frankly, get this institutional knowledge out of these senior citizens' heads and into process, procedures, and training, which is not, which you need to have. But man, it's a lot better when you can just do the training one-on-one in time like that. So that's really what we're up against here, folks. We're running into gridlock in the labor market, and it'll shake out one way, shape, or form. I don't know what it's going to look like when it does finally, shake out. And we do have the seasoned citizens, they start retiring, and what that's going to do as far as moving people up the ladder. Because what I imagine is going to occur is we are in for 5 to 7 years of not just this rough job market that we have. I think it's going to be a even worse version of what we have, like I said, because there's going to be the folks who should be retiring now won't be retiring over the next 5 to 7 years. They're going to stay in the job market. And of those next people, the 5 to 7 that should be kind of moving on their way out, they're also going to stay employed as well. So we're looking at almost a half a generation of people who should be retired that aren't in the next 5 to 7 years. And what that is going to do to any sort of job openings or growth or development with our businesses, it's kind of scary. Okay. So again, appreciate everybody who hung out this long. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. Now, if you're a business owner who is looking to sell their business, thinking about selling their business, or you've never had a valuation done on your business, go down in my description. You'll see there's a link to my value builder link, which will allow you to go and take 13-15 minutes and fill out this assessment. Now what it's going to do is going to provide you with details on exactly how sellable your business is. Then what I do is I help business owners build valuable businesses that sell for high multiples. Now, one of the issues that I run into consistently is people have built these businesses, but they haven't built them to sell. They just are not built to sell. They're built to make money, but they're not built to sell. So when you take this assessment, it gives me a good idea where we're at. We get on a phone call and we kind of check it out from there. Okay. So again, I appreciate everybody who hung out this long. Take care.